Hi everyone, and welcome back to Effective Leadership Strategies for the Workplace. Today we're going to talk about something. We're actually going to revisit something that we have discussed before in this program. It's leadership competencies. And we're going to look at competencies on several different levels: leading the organization, competencies for leading others, competencies for leading yourself, and those few things that could potentially derail your success as a leader. It's important as a leader to build in a form of assessment or evaluation. You should be able to be self-aware enough as a leader to conduct a self-assessment or evaluation on how you're moving through your daily life as a leader. In addition to you yourself being able to conduct some type of self-assessment or self-evaluation, it's important to gather feedback from those around you that are most impacted by your leadership skills. Not only your supervisors, but also those people that you see in your day-to-day work, the people that you supervise on your team, and even your colleagues on your team. Asking them about how you're navigating the leadership role and receiving that critical feedback is important for you as a leader to assess how you're doing. So let's talk about a couple competencies that are key to helping you lead the organization. Number one is a strategic perspective. Are you able to strategically align yourself with the goals, the vision, and the mission of the larger organization? Do you yourself understand the bigger picture so then you can take that back to your teams and walk that walk and demonstrate leadership in helping to share that vision and mission and goals of the organization and helping to garner buy-in from your team? It's that collective buy-in that's going to help you navigate moving through that process to achieve that vision, to meet the goals of the mission, and to be successful as a leader in your organization. Do you embrace change management? You use effective strategies to organize and to facilitate organizational change initiatives. What does that mean? Not only are you using those strategies to facilitate the change initiatives, but you're embracing those strategies. Change is difficult for a lot of people, right? Change is hard. It's the unexpected. It's not knowing what's coming next. But change also provides you with tremendous opportunities to understand and to identify skills that maybe you didn't even know exist. When you can prepare as much as possible for potential change based on the past and the present, then it helps to give you those skills to move more effortlessly when change occurs. It creates a situation where you and your team are going to experience less stress because you've learned from your past, you're engaged in your present, and you're thinking about how to forecast and prepare for your future. Being able to have a competency in change management also means that you are instrumental in helping your team overcome resistance to change. Being resistant to change does not mean that change is not going to happen. Change is going to happen regardless. So it's important that you help your team to develop those skills that they need to navigate change and to overcome resistance to change. Now, here's some competencies for leading others. Do you have the simple competency of leading your employees? And let's talk about what that means. Of course, you're leading employees. You're a leader in the organization. But can you attract? Can you motivate? And can you retain your employees? When we talk about attracting employees, we talk about a process that begins before the actual hiring and onboarding of the employees. We're talking about in the recruitment phase of the employees. Have you been clear for what you expect from an employee and what you're looking for in a key employee? You're attracting the employee, right? You're creating buy-in before the employee is even on your team or even hired. And then once that employee has been hired, then how are you retaining and motivating that employee? Right? You were able to get them on because you attracted them, you engaged them from the beginning and in the hiring process, and then you were able to motivate and retain them once they were actually onboarded. Are you as a leader capable, and do you hold that competency to be able to do that? Another competency is participative management, and the key is right there in that first word, participative. Do you have a leadership or a management style that involves and encourages participation? Are you involving the members on your team? Are you involving your colleagues in decision making? Are you creating a sense of commitment and engagement and participation in the projects and in the goals for your team? Or are you just kind of marching to the beat of your own drummer and neglecting the fact that you have real talent and real skill on the team and in your colleagues? Those are the very people that are going to help you to get to that successful place. And then building collaborative relationships. We've always said it takes a village. Any successful leader has used the support, the collaboration, the cooperation, the feedback, the buy-in of the people around them to be successful. You are building a relationship of collaboration where not only are you giving feedback, you're receiving feedback. You're an active listener and truly being respectful of the feedback and the input that not only your team, but your colleagues and maybe your supervisor also has to contribute. And then compassion and sensitivity. Do you genuinely care? And are you showing that genuine care to your employees? Genuine empathy. When you ask someone how they're doing, do you really stop to listen? Sometimes people weave in difficult conversations and messaging and they kind of sandwich them to make it sound more optimistic or more bright. But when you're actively listening, when you're actively tuning in and not kind of crafting a response in your own head, we've talked about that before, but really tuning in to who that employee is and what they're sharing with you, it helps to make you a more empathetic leader. And it helps you to follow back up with that employee to check on their progress, to check on their state of being. Because how they're showing up for you, what they're trusting you with, that information is privileged information, right? It's a gift that they're giving you, some insight into their life, and it's important to recognize how that feedback, right? How the state of how they're doing impacts how they show up to work for you and with you every single day. It impacts how they show up as a team member and as an employee of your organization. Now, here's some competencies for leading yourself. Do you take initiative? It's important for people to understand their real skill set, which is why I said, this type of evaluation or assessment is important when you not only can assess and evaluate yourself, but also get the feedback from your team members and from your colleagues and from your supervisor. But do you take initiative? Or are you sitting back waiting for something to come to you? You may be sitting for a very, very long time. So it's important that you understand the opportunity when it presents itself, or understand potential opportunities that may arise for you. Prepare yourself and take the initiative. When I say prepare yourself, I'm talking about learning, educating yourself, talking to subject matter experts, and being ready when the initiative or opportunity presents itself. Take the initiative to inquire about the opportunity, research the opportunity, be prepared for the opportunity, because just because you've been there for a long time, or just because you're highly regarded in how you show up to work every day and how you perform your tasks every day, doesn't mean that you're going to be chosen for the opportunity. Because if you're not prepared, the opportunity is going to go to that person that is prepared. Take the initiative, get prepared in advance, do the research that you need, educate yourself on all the aspects of the opportunity, prepare yourself, and then take the initiative to put yourself out there and be a little bit brave and ask for the opportunity. And then work-life balance. Have you created a situation, a work style, a leadership style that helps you to balance both your personal and your professional responsibilities? I used to think, if I just work longer hours, if I just stay here longer, my team would think that I'm kind of industrious, right? I'm committed to the job. What it did was, it helped me to realize that quantity did not equal quality. I was most effective in the first 6 to 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours of the day. But when you cross that threshold, your brain becomes tired. Your energy is minimalized, right? You no longer feel the excitement for a particular task. What it's saying to your employees is, I couldn't get all of my work done. Or I don't feel confident in the work that I got done in the first part of the day, so I need to stay longer to do that. And sometimes it models for your employees that they need to work longer hours to be more effective. When actually, the converse is true. You don't need to work longer hours. You need to be smarter and work smarter to get the work done in a shorter period of time. You become less effective over a longer period of time. Your brain can become foggy, you make mistakes, and here's the key. It starts to build resentment, right? You start to resent the work you're doing and the position that you've taken because it's requiring longer amounts of time in your workspace and less amount of time surrounded by people that bring you joy, people that give you energy, people that you can find respite in, your family, your friends, your hobbies, right? So make sure you find that balance because you're mentoring and modeling for those people that are on your team. They are always watching you as a leader. Set the right example. Your personal time, time with your loved ones, time doing something you really enjoy is just as important as your professional time. And it makes you a more effective leader when you can show up to work happier and more fulfilled. Now, I also want to talk about a couple things that can stall or derail a career. So one is problems with interpersonal relationships. You have to be able to get along with others as a leader. Those people are going to help to uplift you. They're going to help to educate you. They're going to help to prepare you. And if you have the right people, they're going to be honest with you and provide you with the critical feedback that you need to be effective. You are going to be interacting and collaborating with people throughout your leadership career. So if you can't get along well with other people, you're going to have difficulty navigating the leadership space all by yourself. And something else that can be a roadblock for you as a leader is difficulty changing or adapting. Change is inevitable. Adapting to that change is imperative for you as a leader to be successful. Remember when we talked about leading others and leading in the organization, adapting to change is one of the key competencies that you need in terms of shifting mindsets, right? Embracing that growth mindset, moving forward to the organizational goals and missions. If you are resistant to change and you're creating an environment and a team of people that are resistant to change, how will you then move forward and align yourself with the goals, the mission, and the vision of the organization? You can't. And that is not going to move the organization forward. It's going to stall the progress that the organization is making. So today we talked about some key competencies for leading the organization, leading others, leading yourself, and we talked about a couple of things that can derail that progress. So I want you to think about those things and what role those competencies play, or how you've embraced or developed those competencies in your own leadership style, and think about what you need to do in terms of your leadership style to adapt to those competencies, right? To really embrace those competencies. So thank you for joining me this week, and we'll see you again next week on Effective Leadership Strategies in the Workplace.